Welcome to Hidden Horizons, where we uncover the most fascinating stories from world history that often remain overlooked. Here, you'll find calm narration and new perspectives on lost worlds and hidden truths. If you enjoy journeys into the enigmatic corners of the past, consider liking and subscribing. Your support helps us bring more compelling histories from the shadows into the light. In this video, we embark on a journey to unravel the mystery of a city designed to disappear. This isn't just a tale of bricks and mortar, but a reflection on the philosophy of impermanence. How it guided a people to build, cherish, and ultimately let go. Prepare to explore the unseen threads binding a forgotten city to the fleeting nature of existence itself. Chapter 1. Veiled in Mist. The Forgotten Foundations. Imagine, if you will, a city shrouded in mist, rarely spoken of, its legend preserved more in whispers than in stone. Its location sits nestled between mountain veils and drifting clouds, built with an intention unlike any other. Here, foundations were shaped not to last, but to remind all who entered of life's beautiful, inevitable fading. This city didn't fall to conquerors or to time's relentless march. Instead, it was created with a paradox in its heart, built from the start to one day vanish. Its architects and dreamers saw impermanence as a guiding star, something woven into the very ground itself. Every path, every wall, every artifact was meant to echo the fleeting nature of all things. Ancient records hint that its planners gathered by lantern light, quietly discussing the idea that nothing is forever and that beauty grows from letting go. The oldest tales tell of blueprints drawn on parchment that would eventually be burned, so that even the record of their vision might fade with the passing of time, a living tribute to ephemerality. Walking these forgotten avenues, a visitor might sense the city's strange allure, both welcoming and elusive, like a memory at the edge of waking. Flickers of colour from old murals blend with the morning fog, and ancient tools rest among mossy stones. It's a place that both exists and dissolves, woven from quiet intention and the acceptance of change. The philosophy behind the city's creation grew from a belief that to hold something too tightly is to lose its meaning. Residents accepted that time would soften walls, erase names, and gently reclaim what humanity had built. In their eyes, the mark of greatness wasn't in endurance, but in departing gracefully like petals falling from a blossom as dawn fades. Yet, despite this surrender to the passage of time, the city pulsed with imaginative spirit. Festivals filled its winding lanes, music drifting through the mist. Laughter lingered in courtyards, even as those who celebrated knew that each moment was precious precisely because it would not last. The city taught its people to treasure the now, and to find beauty in each fleeting heartbeat. Stories of the city's origin still puzzle historians today. Some legends claim it was founded in mourning, others say it was the vision of a wise sage seeking peace in acceptance. Every version agrees on one thing. The city's creators were united by a deep respect for change. They gave their home up to time, trusting each generation to carry forward only what truly mattered. As our journey begins, we peer through the veils of mist that protected this city's secrets. What forces shaped such an unlikely place? How did its dwellers reconcile the urge to build with the certainty of loss? In the chapters to come, we'll delve deeper into its haunting foundations and explore what this forgotten world can teach us about the beauty of letting go. Chapter 2. Echoes of Uncertainty. Foundations on shifting soil. Beneath constant cloud and wind, the city rose, never grasping for forever. Its architects selected wood, canvas, and clay that would not defy the restless ground. Walls leaned, roofs bowed, yet each piece was a gentle nod to impermanence. Every stone and plank seemed to ask, "How long will I remain?" This was a place shaped as much by fleeting dreams as by human hands. In those early days, nothing stood still. The earth would tremble softly, sometimes with rain, sometimes with a gentle shift beneath the city's fragile feet. Builders learned to brace walls lightly, expecting to adapt. Through narrow alleys, the air was rich with the scent of damp soil and sweet grasses that would soon be gone. Change was not feared. It was a part of daily rhythm, as ordinary as morning mist. Nature's cycles offered neither promise nor threat, simply reminders that permanence was a wish, not a law. The people watched the hillsides breathe and settle under each new dawn. Sometimes paths moved, swallowing footprints from the day before. Through every window and gap in the roofs, the city's families learned to see the shifting sky, to find beauty in the uncertain patterns rolling above them. Fragile architecture transformed the city into a living memory, each structure whispering of earlier forms, and new ones sure to follow. Builders rarely left lasting marks. Instead, every dwelling became part of a cycle, melding with earth and wind. Children learned to cherish their homes, not for their strength, but for the stories carried in their beams and the way moonlight stole between wooden slats at night. Unpredictable weather swept the valley, sometimes cloaking the city in heavy fog, sometimes rattling its fragile dwellings with sudden bursts of rain. People moved with quiet resolve, adjusting ropes, mending thatch, accepting the push and pull of wind as part of life's order. In this way, the city's very foundations became a testament to adaptability. Nothing fixed, everything embraced by the promise of change. Those who remembered the city's beginnings often recalled nights when walls shivered in the wind and candlelight danced upon uneven floors. Each morning, small repairs would be made, a roof adjusted, a support replaced. The temporariness of every home was accepted, even celebrated, as evidence of a people in harmony with a shoreline of shifting earth-never struggling against the inevitable, but learning to move alongside it. The neighborhoods clustered loosely, never bound by strict patterns. Walkways trickled here and there, sometimes blocked by fallen branches, sometimes opening new routes overnight. Nothing stayed as planned, yet this became the patantha. City itself, a reflection of water trickling over stone, always seeking the simplest course, never resisting the natural uncertainty that defined every waking moment. Amid these impermanent homes, the people rooted themselves in traditions instead of structures. Seasonal festivals marked the passing of rains and the gradual settling of land. Songs were sung to celebrate the return of the river's bend or the emergence of fresh grass through the soft mud. Together, these shared moments formed an anchor, a memory more lasting than any wall built by human hands. Sometimes the shifting soil revealed history hidden beneath. Traces of old foundations, layers of pottery, relics from buildings that vanished under last year's flood. Children would turn these discoveries into stories, weaving the city's past into the fabric of each new day. It was a kind of magic seeing how even what faded away could return, unexpectedly, to shape lives and dreams anew. In this city, acceptance of constant change ran deeper than the foundations. People met each season with calm, their hearts seasoned by uncertainty. They found joy in the temporary glow of lanterns after rainfall and the echo of laughter drifting across shifting rooftops. The city endured through renewal, teaching those who lived within it that sometimes the most timeless thing we can build is our willingness to let go. Chapter 3. Crafted for the moment. Lives woven into impermanence. In this chapter, we slip quietly into the heart of the city, where every sunrise finds farmers tending transient fields and artisans shaping clay that will one day crumble. Here, life is measured not by monuments but by gentle rituals and fleeting bonds. Simple gestures, a nod across a bustling street, tell stories written in the language of ephemerality. The farmers rise with the light, awake to dew on the grass and the knowledge that each harvest will soon pass. Their homes are woven from rushes that bend with the wind, always ready to be rebuilt if a season turns harsh. Work and rest blend seamlessly, routines that honor cycles more than possessions. These daily rhythms turn the passing years into a tapestry of humble grace. Artisans fill alleys with the steady sound of tools' wooden bowls shaped from fallen branches, clay jars formed to cradle water before returning to dust. They craft not for eternity, but for this moment's use. Each piece is cherished in the now, its beauty amplified by its impermanence. When an object breaks, it is not mourned. Instead, the city celebrates continuous renewal, and hands find new forms to shape. Wanderers thread between fields and market stalls, welcomed as kin despite their transient presence. They bring stories of distant places, every tale gathering listeners hungry for change. In a landscape without fixed borders, friendships are formed quickly and held lightly, their value clear in the here and now. The city absorbs these brief connections, weaving them into its ever-shifting fabric. Meals are communal and temporary, set beneath awnings tied to swaying trees. People share food and laughter while knowing tomorrow's gathering may look different or not happen at all. Utensils and bowls crafted with care are passed from person to person, gathering memories. As night falls and tables vanish, what lingers is not the meal, but the warmth of togetherness in an impermanent world. The city's rituals are woven from simplicity. At day's end, families light lanterns that flicker softly in windows of reed and paper. The glow is brief, meant to be seen by neighbours just for a night. When wind or rain snuffs them out, new lights are shaped again the next evening. These rituals do not aim to defy impermanence. Instead, they recognise its quiet beauty and let it guide their traditions. Architecture here mirrors the spirit of fleetingness. Houses lean lightly on soil, designed to shelter but not scar the land. Walls are layered with mud and straw, ready to melt back to earth as seasons shift. The skyline changes gently, each structure living only as long as it is needed. The city becomes both a shelter and a lesson reminding all who live here of the gift in letting go. Children play on woven mats that can be rolled up at dusk. Their games invent new worlds from stones and twigs, knowing that toys might be lost, broken, or left behind when families move. Even in play, impermanence is a teacher sparking creativity and lightness in every moment. Smiles and laughter linger in the air longer than any object could ever last, rooting joy in the present instead of the permanent. Relationships bloom and fade like wildflowers along a winding river. Bonds are deepened quickly, without the weight of forever. Partings are softened by gratitude, a sense that even brief connections leave lasting warmth. In a city where all is borrowed and nothing is truly owned, love becomes a gentle act of presence, intended to treasure the now, not to claim the tomorrows. As we watch the city settle into night, we sense how impermanence shapes not just shelters, but the spirit of its people. Embracing change, they unlock a freedom unknown to those attached to certainty. In rituals, crafts, and friendships, simplicity offers profound comfort, reminding us that beauty often lies in what cannot last. This city's strength is found in its willingness to let go and begin anew each dawn. Chapter 4. Mist as Memory. The city takes shape. Dawn arrives gently, with a blanket of mist folding over the wooden homes that form the city's heart. The air is heavy and cool, muffling every sound except for the low murmurs of early risers. Through the fog, shadowy figures move slowly, their shapes fluid, as if memory and reality are blending together in this quiet, waking hour. At this hour, the boundaries of the city seem uncertain. The damp mist swirling through narrow lanes and weaving between the shards of light peeking around rounded rooftops. Market stalls, cobbled together with fabric and wood, are half hidden, shapes waiting to become real. It is a city caught between dreams and waking, on the edge of dissolving with every breath of the wind. Children's laughter drifts across the fog, quick bursts of joy that fade into the vast air. Their silhouettes spin and chase along muddy streets, their voices mingling with the distant calls of traders setting up for the day. Every sound brushes softly against the mist, creating layers of memory that cling lightly to the wooden walls and uneven stones below. Market vendors quietly arrange their goods, hands chilled by the night lingering in every object they touch. Cloths are unfurled to reveal fruits glistening with dew, baskets holding bread still warm from hidden ovens, all softened by the grey veil. Life stirs in the city, slow and cautious, but vibrant beneath the surface, as if every gesture is both a beginning and an end. As the city awakens, the mist becomes a kind of memory, wrapping old homes and new faces in something both secretive and fragile. Footsteps echo softly as figures drift between homes, the ground damp and echoing underfoot. Teresa sensed that these moments are fleeting, that the city itself exists only for these precious suspended mornings before the light chases the haze away. Temporary stalls pop up in the main square, colourful in intent, yet subdued beneath the silvery veil. Traders greet each other with quiet nods, voices barely raised to avoid disturbing the delicate hush. The city's centre is laid out like a memory in progress, wooden tables, canvas awnings, and simple crates forming islands of life anchored in the drifting fog. The city pulses gently with anticipation. Smoke curls from the low chimneys, blending into the swirling mist. Old women sweep their doorsteps, careful not to disturb the dew-laden air. Every movement is graceful, unhurried, as if the city has promised itself not to rush, to savour the delicate balance between what is seen and what might vanish by midday. A cart's wheel turns in the thick mud, its slow progress cutting a path that will soon disappear with the next rain. The inhabitants accept that nothing here will last forever. Every structure, every echo, every path is shaped by hands that understand impermanence. The city is alive with a quiet resilience, fueled by the knowledge that each morning is a small act of creation. Time behaves differently in the mist. For a little while, the city's edges are softened, the uncertainty of boundaries making neighbours seem closer, more necessary. Old stories are exchanged over steaming bowls. Children invent worlds no adult can quite enter. The city, for these brief hours, feels whole and vibrant, even as it remains forever on the edge of dissolving into the dawn. And when the mist finally lifts, it leaves behind glimmers of what was, the memory of laughter, the warmth of quiet rituals, the subtle heartbeat of a city that knows it will not last. The residents move forward, carving out another day in a world that values impermanence, where memory thickens in the damp air, and the city forever teeters between presence and fading away. Chapter 5. Tools of Wood and Stone. The Art of the Impermanent. In the city built for impermanence, tools were simple in both shape and purpose. Craftsmen reached for stone blades and wooden hammers that felt ancient in their hands. Each object was designed for use and eventual decay, returning to the earth as quietly as it once emerged. Every tool carried wisdom shaped by the patient hands that knew their legacy was to fade rather than endure. Artisans moved with unhurried grace, selecting branches, stones, and twine. Nothing here wasted, nothing without meaning. With deliberate gestures, they lashed beams using fibres gathered from riverbanks. Each stroke of a stone chisel was guided by an understanding this structure's destiny was to vanish. In every tap and twist there lived both mastery and humility, a quiet acceptance that all things must give way to new beginnings in time. Biodegradable materials defined the construction soft woods for posts, woven reeds for walls, grass and bark shingles for roofs. Every design considered disassembly as much as durability, joints slotted together for easy breakdown, not endless endurance. The city's living spaces breathed with the seasons, adapting with rain and wind. To live here meant always remembering the temporary nature of shelter and respecting the artistry that flourished in that impermanence. Children learned early to help gather willow switches and clay, watching the elders practice movements. The passing down of skills was as cyclical as the city itself. Building was never about defying the elements, but working gently with them. Structures leaned into the forgiving flecks of green wood. Even in play, youngsters moulded cups and figurines from unfired earth, knowing their handiwork would crumble and return to soil, just as their city someday would. The whispers of saws on unseasoned timber, the thud of mallets, the shush of reeds sliding through calloused fingers, these were the sounds of livelihood and legacy. Walls rose swiftly, shaped by hands accustomed to working with what was at hand. No metal, no glass, just the gifts of forest, river, and field. Everywhere there was a gentle pride in making things that would serve and then disappear, opening space for the next chapter of existence. Mornings brought cool mist and the glow of sunrise on half-built shelters. Craftspeople met with tools carefully hung from loops of bark. The day's work was less a race against time, more a conversation with it. They accepted that the greatest care might still be undone by a stray wind or storm. Each hour spent shaping a roof or fitting a wooden joint was infused with quiet reverence, welcoming both creation and ultimate release. Dismantling an old building was a communal ritual, not a mark of loss, but a familiar return. Families and neighbours gathered, each person playing a part as beams were unbound, thatch carefully salvaged, and stones rolled back to the riverside. Dust rose in soft sunlight, mingling with laughter and old songs. Through it all, there was a sense of gratitude, an acknowledgement that endings made room for beginnings, and that nothing crafted was ever truly wasted. Stories spread of master artisans whose work lasted a single season. Their skill was measured not in the years their creations survived, but in how easily the earth reclaimed them. To be remembered was not to construct monuments, but to craft in harmony with nature's cycle. Each structure, each tool, was a quiet celebration of presence in the moment, and a gentle surrender when the time to fade finally arrived. The landscape was littered with gentle traceless impressions in grass where walls once stood, the ash from worn-out tools scattered beneath wildflowers. The impermanent city never left scars. Instead, every effort faded back into the land, seeds for new growth or silent stories waiting beneath spring rain. As years passed, memories lingered in the subtle shifts of earth and root, and in the hands ready to build once more when called. To dwell in a city meant to vanish was to let go of ownership, to cherish transience. Every plank, every smooth stone, every knot of willow held proof of patient artistry. The beauty here was not designed to last, but to nurture, inspire, and then recede. In this way, the people learned to trust impermanence as an art, and to lean gently, always, into the welcoming arms of change. Chapter 6. Living within the pause. Cycles of renewal. In the city shaped by impermanence, every season brings change, and with it, the gentle touch of transformation. Homes are not built to last forever, but to breathe with the world around them. Markets shift their place, following the rhythms of wind and water. Here, people do not resist the endings. Instead, they welcome each new beginning. The city flows with nature's cycles. Walls are dismantled when the rains come, and rebuilt when the sun returns. Nothing is wasted. Old beams and stones find new purpose as roofs and pathways. Families gather together, hands steady and hearts light, pulling down what once sheltered them, knowing they will build again. In this way, the city becomes part of the earth's heartbeat, never fixed, always living. Within this ever-shifting city, every ending is a quiet invitation to begin anew. The people do not mourn the loss of their homes or the disappearance of familiar markets. Instead, they understand that change is not destruction, but renewal, a way for life to keep flowing. There is a gentle joy in letting go, in watching the old dissolve, making space for what comes next. Each season brings a community together. Elders teach the youngest the rhythms of disassembly and repair. Songs echo through the streets as goods are carried, stones are stacked, and thatch is bundled for future use. This tradition shapes not just the city, but the hearts of its people, steady acceptance of impermanence, taught hand by hand, year by year. This approach to living goes deeper than practical survival. Over time, the city's philosophy weaves through every soul. Embrace the present, release the past, and meet the future with open arms. This wisdom is not spoken loudly, but carried in the way they tend to gardens that will soon be gone, or share laughter under roofs that will soon be taken apart. Children learn to find beauty in impermanence, to see endings not as losses, but as parts of a continuous story. When a beloved tree falls, it is remembered in song, and its wood becomes furniture or art. Change is not a fever to be feared, but a natural rhythm to be felt. This gentle acceptance lets the whole city live more lightly, with less regret and more hope. Markets, too, are reborn with each cycle. A bustling square one season may become a quiet field the next. Merchants adapt, setting up new stalls, moving with the ebb and flow of people and weather. Here, survival is not about clinging to old places. It is about moving with the tide, bringing skills and stories wherever they go, always ready for renewal. Festivals mark the moments of changerites where people dress in colours of the season, celebrating the act of letting go as much as the joy of rebuilding. They dance not to defy impermanence, but to honour it. These gatherings are gentle reminders that life is richest when we pause, breathe, and welcome whatever comes next, with quiet courage and open hearts. Throughout the city, the pause between cycles is cherished. Families share quiet meals, reflecting on what was and dreaming of what will be. The city slows to a hush, stories passing softly from one generation to the next. In this contemplative space, it becomes clear. True strength lies not in permanence, but in the grace to adapt when the world changes shape around us. In living within the pause, the people of the city are always both saying farewell and preparing a welcome. Each cycle shapes them to be gentle with endings, grateful for the present, and open to the future's surprises. As the city once more prepares for renewal, its people hold close the wisdom that nothing is forever except the endless beauty of beginning again. Chapter 7. Festivals under waning stars, celebrations of fleeting beauty. As the city slips into night, Lanterns flicker from window to window, casting wandering shadows over winding streets. Temporary arches, woven from blossoms and fabric, shimmer softly in the breeze. Here, beauty is gathered for a moment, its fleeting nature cherished by all. Laughter rises over music, mingling gently with the crackle of fire as the festival begins. Under the open sky, bonfires glow like ephemeral beacons. Neighbours assemble in winding circles, their faces illuminated by wavering light. Each decoration is delicately placed, designed to vanish by morning, a tribute to transience. Children chase reflections in the firelight while elders share quiet stories. The city becomes a dream state come alive, every joyful sound edged with the knowledge that this, too, will pass soon. The music of flutes and low drums fills the air, weaving through the cool night. It is not a raucous celebration, but one tinted with gentle melancholia harmony tuned for impermanence. Dancers sway in flowing robes, their motions echoing the quiet rhythm of change. The laughter is tender, with an undercurrent of longing, as if everyone is gently holding on to a precious fading moment together. As the festival grows, fleeting sculptures of ice and sand appear across city squares, crafted by artists who know their work will soon disappear. Onlookers admire with soft applause, embracing the present moment. Above, the stars seem to dwindle, casting an otherworldly glow over the collective gathering. There is a humble pride in this acceptance of celebration not only of beauty, but of its inevitable vanishing. Each festival guest brings a symbolic offering, petals, folded paper, or tiny lanterns, setting them afloat on streams or into the night sky. These delicate tokens vanish quickly washed away or carried off by the wind. The gestures are quiet promises to remember the night, to recognize the meaning in what cannot last. Every release sparks bittersweet smiles and thoughtful silence, deepening the festival's gentle resonance. At the heart of the gathering, a storyteller unfurls tales of past festivals, voices soft but clear above the gentle music. The stories themselves are cherished for their fading details, retold across generations with patient affection. The listeners huddle close, their faces touched with nostalgia, warmed not only by the nearby fire, but by the sense of shared impermanence quietly intricately celebrated tonight. Monks and artisans weave ephemeral banners, each inscribed with a wish or cherished memory. When dawn threatens, these banners will be released to the wind or ashes, their words dissolving into the sky. The act is quiet but potent, a reminder that meaning often lies not in preservation, but in the sincere offering itself. The city honours these gestures, knowing they'll only exist for this night. As midnight nears, the festival's energy softens into a meditative calm. Friends and strangers pause together under the waning stars, sharing food, wistful glances, and the silent comfort of community. Some gaze up, memorizing the constellations, understanding how even the night sky is always subtly changing. The celebration is gentle, almost reverent music drifting on the wind, laughter growing quieter but no less heartfelt. In the festival's final hours, a slow procession moves through the city, lanterns gently bobbing in the pre-dawn darkness. Old songs, sung softly, evoke the memory of those who once walked these paths. As each fire burns low, the decorations begin to unravel, dissolving into the earth and air. The city leans into the hush with gratitude, knowing impermanence grants depth to every celebration. With the arrival of dawn, remnants of celebration are gently swept away. Bonfire embers fade to ash, petals and lanterns carried off by breeze and river. Yet in every heart the festival lingers our memory bright with beauty that was never meant to last. The city wakes changed, holding the night's gentle melancholy and joy, ready to embrace the next fleeting moment under new waning stars. Chapter 8. When Walls Weep. The embrace of weather. The city, once seemingly resilient, now bows gently to the persistent rain and whispering wind. Water trickles through quiet halls and seeps into crevices, painting the old stones with glistening patterns. Roofs soften, their edges sagging under the weight of many seasons. Still, there is calm. The people move slowly, eyes reflecting neither fear nor regret, but a quiet acceptance that whispers of peace. Chilled droplets trace silent paths along the city walls, as if the stone itself mourns and rejoices at once. Each gust of wind carries the scent of wet earth and pine, mingling with memories of laughter and song. These weathered walls offer no resistance. Instead, they welcome the elements in a restful surrender. The rhythm of decay is gentle, reminding all who dwell here that nothing is meant to last forever. In courtyards veiled with mist, neighbours gather, tools in hand. Together, they patch what was undone with the same patient reverence as sculptors touching ancient clay. There is no rush to defeat the rain or fortify against the wind. Repairs are simple gestures, acts of care rather than battle. In this city, nature and human hands shape the world as shared artists rather than relentless opponents. Their children, too, grow up knowing the language of letting go. A collapsed beam is met with a soft smile, a crumbled stare with gentle laughter. Each act of mending becomes a lesson, woven into stories whispered at dusk. Here, decay is not a loss to be grieved, but a transition to be honoured. The city breathes alongside the storm, finding beauty in every slow unravelling. Days slip by, marked by the rhythmic drip of water from sagging eaves. Inside, fires burn low, and warmth collects where friends sit close, listening to rain's quiet lullaby. The city's aging face wears its cracks openly, lines etched by patience and acceptance. People listen to what the weather has to say. In this openness, the city discovers a rare kind of sanctuary found not in resistance, but in gentle surrender. Sometimes, the dawn arrives with a hush, fog wrapped close around the remaining towers. Light glimmers on puddles, revealing tufts of grass pressing up between broken stones. Here, nature slowly takes her place, her green fingers coaxing the city into a softer outline. So the people adjust, shifting stones or weaving reeds, quietly grateful that impermanence brings such tender corners to call home. As seasons pass, the city grows lighter and quieter. Roofs bow lower with each rainfall, and once proud arches curve gently, touched by time's embrace. The people linger in the ruins, tracing faded carvings, and listening to the walls whisper stories back to them. No bitterness stirs in their voices. Instead, a hush falls, serene and full, honouring the way the world is always becoming something new. With every repair, there is a sense that this place is not meant to withstand forever. Each stone set back in place, every plank nailed anew, is a mindful nod to fleeting existence. The city's rhythm is no longer the march of conquest, but the slow dance of acceptance. The people speak softly about the future, knowing the weather will come again and again, always welcomed, never denied. Sometimes the rain grows fierce, pounding old rooftops with relentless energy. Even then, fear does not break the city's calm. Instead, laughter echoes in the streets as neighbours hurry to share dry shelter. There is a trust here that the storm, like every hardship, will pass, and when the sun returns, it reveals a place softened and reshaped, each scar a part of its unique, ever-shifting beauty. In the end, the city learns to bend, to bow, and to let go. The rain and wind write their stories into every wall and walkway. People live at ease with change, embracing the slow collapse as gently as the sunrise. In this world, nothing is clung too tightly and nothing is wasted. There is elegance in the ebb and flow. The city finds peace by surrendering to impermanence, content in its beautiful unravelling. Content in its beautiful unravelling. Chapter 9. Stories in the Fog. Legends of Impermanence. In the hush of morning, as mist drifts through narrow alleys, gentle voices murmur the tales that shape this city's soul. Here, people gather where the fog is thickest, sharing stories handed down through generations. These myths do not boast of lasting temples or grand statues. Instead, they hold close the lessons of impermanence, woven into every whispered legend beneath the shroud of dawn. One story begins with the lost lantern, said to glow only when the city is most hidden by fog. Elders recall the night it vanished from its post, replaced by soft memory and laughter echoing in the night air. Instead of searching for the lantern, the city embraced its loss, letting its memory linger as warmly as any enduring light. In this city, absence becomes a gentle teacher, guiding each passer-by. Another tale is told of the weaver and the river. A skilled woman shaped fine tapestries, only to let the river waters dissolve them by sunrise. People would gather along the banks, watching colours drift away on the current. The children would ask, Why create what will not last? The weaver would smile, reminding them that beauty grows brighter in the heart when set free, not chained to stone or fabric. In the heart of night, voices came together to share the legend of the missed bell. Each year, a bell would chime once and then disappear, no one knowing where it would turn up next. Those who sought it were not chasing relics. They were honouring how the city lives in moving moments, not fixed places. To hear the bell was to be reminded that precious things are not meant to always be found, but sometimes simply remembered. Children gathered beneath a leaning willow to learn about the dancer in the fog, a figure who drifted with each spiral of mist and was seen only in glimpses. The dance was never the same, and it faded as quickly as it began. This story found its way from mother to daughter, father to son, a reminder that the fleeting joys of life are not lost when they disappear, but cherished in the retelling. The city's oldest families recall an era when a grand gate arched over the main road, carved with intricate designs. One morning, the gate collapsed, its wood vanishing into the forest. No one rebuilt or mourned it for long. Instead, people spoke softly of the gate in stories, carrying its spirit through memory rather than stone, teaching future generations that meaning is carried in hearts more surely than it is fixed in wood or marble. Legend spoke of the scribe with unwritten scrolls. Each festival he would sit in the square, parchment bare, listening to the tales of others. Instead of inscribing the words, he would commit them to memory. It was said the city's true history lived in the minds of the people, carried forward not by ink but by the softness of memory, shifting as gently as fog itself, never rigid, always open to new voices and truths. On moonless nights, elders gathered the young around a crumbling fountain to share the echoes of the empty hall. They spoke of an ancient hall that once stood tall but was swept away by storms. The story's lesson traced through each retelling. Even vanished places shape those who remember them. In this city, legacy matters not in what stands firm, but in what endures within a story shared quietly in the mist. One favourite tale is that of the painter and the Jew. Each morning, the painter's art gleamed briefly on stone before the fog erased every colour and line. Yet, as the sun rose, villagers would gather to describe what they had seen. The painter's works may have vanished, but collective memory painted richer pictures, reinforcing the city's shared truth. That which is fleeting can still leave the deepest impression on the soul. As each story slips through the fog like breath, the city's philosophy takes clearer shape. These tales, carried on soft voices and gentle laughter, celebrate impermanence, not as an absence, but a presence of something tender and enduring. What matters is not built of stone, but remembered in kindness, love and story. In this way, the legend of the mist-bound city continues, not with monuments, but with memories that outlast the dawn. Chapter 10. The Surrender. Preparing to fade away. In the softest hours of the city's final days, a gentle stillness settles across its lanes and courtyards. Residents greet the dawn with calm acceptance, knowing that their time among the crafted stones is drawing to a close. The rituals of farewell begin quietly, each action carried out with deliberate care, echoing generations that understood the art of letting go. Structures, once vibrant with life, are thoughtfully dismantled. Walls are deconstructed brick by brick, beams lifted down by practiced hands. The city's layout slowly loses its shape, returning the land to an untouched form. There is purpose in each movement, nothing is rushed or careless. As the buildings disappear, so do the traces of daily bustle, revealing a landscape ready to breathe again, unburdened by human design. In the heart of the city, communities gather for ritual farewells. Circles form under open skies as neighbours share quiet words and gentle smiles. Objects that held memory stools, vessels, lanterns there, gifted or set aside, becoming offerings to the land or mementos for distant futures. The air is thick with remembrance and gratitude, a collective honouring of experiences that have shaped them all. The earth is gently restored to its original state. Gardens are unplanted, tilled soil smoothed over. Stones that lined pathways are scattered back into the wild grass. Streams are allowed to find new courses. It is as if the city was only ever a guest here, its presence temporary and respectful. Each step in this process radiates a quiet sense of responsibility and humility toward the land. Farewell is marked by song and silence. Evening fires light up in small circles, illuminating faces lined with bittersweet smiles. Old stories drift through the air, some whispered, some sung each holding memories of what has been built and now is being released. In these final gatherings, grief and gratitude mingle, becoming inseparable, creating a moment suspended between ending and new beginning. Children are taught how to say goodbye, just as their elders did. Little hands release treasured objects, learning that impermanence is not a wound, but a wisdom. The older generations guide them, showing that the act of letting go holds beauty. There is comfort in ritual and dignity in detachmenta, gentle lesson that echoes across ages as the city's legacy comes quietly to a close. As the city slowly dissolves into memory, those who remain take a last walk along familiar paths. Footprints mark the earth, weaving together stories soon to be erased. The sounds of laughter and labour, once woven into stone and wood, now drift softly on the wind. With each departing family, the city's spirit grows lighter, surrendering itself willingly to what comes next. Nature returns to claim what was once borrowed. Grasses push through the emptiness where homes once stood. The mist that often hovered beyond the city's borders now drifts freely through open fields. Birds call from new perches, and wildflowers bloom across forgotten spaces. In this gentle reclamation, the boundary between city and wilderness blurs until only memory separates them. In the final twilight, a profound silence settles. Those who have said goodbye take a last look at the clearing of space that now feels both emptied and fulfilled. The spaces between the dismantled stones shimmer with a quiet beauty, holding the bittersweet truth that nothing is meant to last forever. The city fades, but its lessons linger in the hearts of those who journey onward. Letting go is not a loss, but a returner. Gentle surrender to cycles greater than any city or structure. This moment of dissolution is as important as creation, revealing the wisdom of impermanence. As the chapter closes, we are reminded that every ending carries seeds of wonder and possibility, waiting quietly to take root somewhere new, in another time and in another place. Chapter 11. For a world that moves, the legacy endures. When the last stones have settled and the voices of the city have faded into the hush of morning, what remains? The landscape breathes quietly, holding secrets where streets once lay. Traces of footprints linger for a moment, softened by the gentle touch of dawn dew. Nature reclaims its rhythm, weaving new stories among the places people once gathered and dreamed. As the days pass, pale grass springs up through the places that once bore busy feet. The outlines of thoroughfares blur, fading beneath layers of time and growth. The city, which thrived on impermanence, leaves behind not ruins to ponder, but hints and whispers. Each seed that settles acts as a quiet marker, suggesting both an end and a new beginning. The cycle continues, unbroken. Mist settles over gentle hills where rooftops once caught the sunrise. There's an absence that feels alive, a space left open for birds to land and for breezes to brush softly over the earth. Footprints wash away, memories soften, but the lessons endure. In the silent places, the legacy of the city lingers, a reminder that all things shift, change, and eventually return to the landscape itself. Walking across this reborn land, you might sense echoes beneath each step, a kind of wisdom woven into meadow and breeze. The city has vanished, yet its vision persists in the openness it has left behind. It shapes how travellers move through the world, careful, unhurried, and attuned to the gentle, impermanent beauty beneath their feet. This is a quiet inheritance left for those who come after. Long after walls crumble and names are lost, the influence of the city persists in subtle ways. Those who journeyed here now carry new perspectives, shaped by the place where impermanence was honoured above grandeur. Their stories ripple outward, gently shifting the lives and outlooks of distant people. The legacy isn't a monument, it is the view carried in the traveller's heart, long into the future. The memory of the city thrives in the lessons it offered. Its story is quietly passed down, across quiet firesides or whispered as travellers cross dew-laden fields. These tales shape a gentle respect for change, reminding each listener to see beauty in both the building up and the letting go. The world becomes a little softer, a bit more open, as the city's hidden legacy weaves into new lives. Every sunrise over this landscape feels different now. Shadows move where walls once stood, and light touches spaces shaped by absence. There is a calmness in this renewal, a gratitude for the impermanence that shaped both city and those who called it home. Gone are the echoes of daily bustle, replaced by the subtle song of wind and grasser, a reminder that every mark is temporary, yet its influence can be profound. Along riverbanks and in quiet hollows, the city's legacy lingers in the way people choose to walk lightly, seeking harmony rather than dominion. Its lessons float across the landscape like drifting leaves, encouraging new seeds to sprout wherever there is openness. The city's end is not a loss, but a transformation. It's wisdom alive in the choices people make and the landscapes they shape anew. Travellers leaving this place carry with them more than memories. They bear a way of seeing the world gentle, accepting of change, and curious about what emerges when old things pass away. As they venture beyond the city's vanished borders, the perspective gained here colours every new encounter. The legacy ripples outward, like soft footprints in morning dew, always present even as they fade from sight. So, what remains after all has faded. An unbroken landscape, richer for having hosted a city unafraid of the temporary. The legacy endures not in grandeur or relic, but in how those who pass through learn to embrace impermanence. It persists wherever there is openness to change, where new seeds sprout, and every ending gently becomes another beginning. In that quiet, ongoing transformation, the city truly lives on. Chapter 12. Hidden Horizons Lessons in Ephemerality. As we come to the end of our journey through the city designed to fade, we find ourselves surrounded by the gentle hush of impermanence. In these lingering moments, let us pause to reflect on what it means to cherish the temporary, and what wisdom the fleeting can offer to our lives. Within each passing shadow lies a lesson waiting to be discovered. Here, at the city's edge, the walls crumble softly under time's embrace, reminding us that everything is destined to change. The people who built this place knew that nothing lasts forever, and in their acceptance there was peace. Their legacy whispers not of monuments, but of memories, echoes carried gently on the wind. It's in these whispers that true serenity is found, teaching us to hold gently to what we love. As twilight settles, the city reveals delights often missed by those who hurry past. The fleeting beauty of a sunbeam on ancient stone, the hush of a leaf drifting to the earth, the soft laughter of friends at dusk. These are the moments, brief and bright, that weave together the fabric of a life. Each one teaches us that memory, change, and acceptance are woven tightly in the story of existence. The city's ephemerality asks us to look at our own lives with fresh eyes. What if, instead of fearing endings, we welcomed them as gentle guides? Doors closing, new paths opening. Within each goodbye lies the possibility for something deep and meaningful to take root. By letting go, we invite new memories, new joys, and the quiet beauty that only transition can bring. Accepting impermanence cultivates wisdom beyond words. As we've explored the city together, the lesson is clear. Serenity is found not in what lasts, but in the grace with which we let things go. Like ancient builders who knew the stones would not endure, we can embrace each moment for what it is, knowing its beauty comes precisely from its impermanence. Within the softness of change lies the heart of this city's philosophy. The citizens built with intention, crafting dwellings designed to dissolve gently back into the land. Their wisdom was in meeting life openly, greeting every sunrise as something rare, every sunset as a cherished farewell. Their humility inspires us to move gracefully through our own seasons of change. With each structure faded, the city teaches us that memory is not only about retaining, but about releasing. We remember by honouring, not clinging. Like the echo of laughter carried on the evening breeze, memories linger as gentle reminders of what once was, and invite us to celebrate what is here, right now. The past becomes a teacher, guiding us toward gratitude in the present. In the calm after the city's story, consider the quiet beauty found in letting be. Every life, every moment, is both a presence and a passing. Embrace the uncertainty and the gentle rhythm of transformation, for in doing so we find peace. The city's legacy is not only in its stones, but in the hearts it changed, reminding us to live gently, to notice the subtle, and cherish all that is fleeting. As we step away from the city's shadow, take a moment to carry its lesson into your own world. Where can you let go so something new and beautiful might grow? Where can you savor the temporary, knowing it gives life its sparkle? By welcoming impermanence, we uncover a hidden horizon within ourselves, one defined by openness and quiet wonder. Thank you for joining this journey through the city that was built to be temporary. May the wisdom of ephemerality remind you to hold moments gently, to honor change, and to look for beauty in the ordinary days that slip by. Until our next exploration, may your own horizons remain hidden, waiting, shimmering softly, and welcoming you to embrace life's ever-changing story.